Hey guys, it's Jackie and welcome back to my channel. So today's video I need to talk about Ruth in Doctor Who. So not in this last episode but the previous episode we were introduced to a new character named Ruth. So in this episode the Doctor and her companions are traveling in the TARDIS when an alarm goes off, and there's this, she realizes that the Judoon are going to wipe out pretty much everyone on planet Earth if they don't find the fugitive that they're looking for. And of course, the Doctor can't have that. She loves Earth, she loves humans, she's got to protect them. So they come to Earth and they come across the Judoon. So the Judoon are looking for a fugitive, and someone has paid them to go and find this fugitive. So that's pretty much the basis. The Doctor tries to stop the Judoon from destroying the planet if they can't find their fugitive. So we're introduced to this character, Ruth, and she is so ordinary when we first see her. She is so ordinary. She's just this tour guide, and we see her giving out her tour pamphlets. Her husband, on the other hand, knows a little more about why the Judoon are here and a little more about what is happening, but doesn't tell her anything. Going into the episode, the Doctor searches Ruth's apartment or flat, whatever you want to call it, Ruth's apartment, and finds this box. And the husband is like, hey, give me the box, I'll take care of it. And he just doesn't, he knows more about what's going on than he's sharing. So eventually we have the Doctor taking Ruth along with her to protect her, and her husband stays. We're introduced to this other character. I cannot for the life of me remember her name, but I'll put it down here in a picture. And she is the one that's kind of paid the Judoon to go and find this fugitive. And in doing so, she comes into Ruth and her husband's apartment and kills Ruth's husband, but not before her husband sends Ruth a message. And the message is, go to the lighthouse and break the glass. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, like go to the lighthouse and break the glass. So it cuts to Ruth and the Doctor. They're in this church, and the Judoon have come and found them, and they're surrounded by Judoon until Ruth reads that text message and somehow knows the language of the Judoon and knows how to basically kill the Judoon. And the Doctor is shook, like is so shook, doesn't know how this happens. So after all of that, Ruth then can't remember how or what she, like, Ruth can't remember how she did that, like how she understood the Judoon, how she could speak to the Judoon, how she knows anything about the Judoon, because for her, she is just Ruth from Gloucester. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'll put the name down here. A tour guide and nothing more. But obviously there's something else. There's another part of her that she just chose to kind of forget. So Ruth and the Doctor make their way to the lighthouse, because that's what it said in the text message. So as they make their way to the lighthouse, Ruth is sort of getting pieces of her true self back. So the Doctor and Ruth make it to the lighthouse, and they don't know what they're supposed to be looking for. So, you know, Ruth is looking inside the lighthouse while the Doctor goes outside, and the Doctor scans, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember too much about how the episode happened, but the Doctor, I think, uses her sonic to scan the outside of the lighthouse, and she finds a reading, and it's like underground. So she starts to dig up, you know, the sand, and there it is, police box. And you already know it is the TARDIS. When I saw this, and after Ruth broke glass and everything came back to her, and we see her come out of the lighthouse, I was very, very, very disappointed. And this is why. Ruth is the doctor. And you're probably thinking like, no, she's not the doctor. Jodie Whittaker is the doctor. And you would be right, because they're both the doctor. This is what, I believe it was Stephen Moffat or Chibnall in an interview that said, no, there's no mistake. They're both the doctor. Which I guess I can, So I guess I can like go along with it if they had some recollection of each other. In this episode, Ruth does not know the doctor, and the doctor does not know Ruth. If they're the same person, they should have some memory of each other, either from the past or from the future. That's how it works. The doctor can recognize himself either from the past or from the future. So this is where I want to talk about Ruth. So Ruth is the doctor. There was no disputing that she's a doctor. But somehow they can't remember each other. And so this is why so this is my like theory, and I think is what's going to happen. So I think Ruth is a doctor from an alternate timeline, a time stream, or whatever. The science part of the science fiction completely eludes me, so I don't know what the difference is. But what I'm trying to say is, here is our timeline for the doctors, the 13 doctors that we know, now 14, right? So this is their timeline, starting with William Hartnell's doctor and now ending with Jodie Whittaker's doctor. Somewhere in between the 8th doctor, there is like this little like sort of crack. It from the 8th doctor, there's another little line, and here we have the War Doctor. The War Doctor was made from the 8th Doctor's consciousness to become a warrior and fight in the Time War. So he's still on the like timeline, just a little off, right? Still, the War Doctor remembers the other doctors, or the other doctors have recollection of him. Our doctor knows his past selves and knows his future selves. So we're introduced to the War Doctor in 2013 in the episode The Name of the Doctor, and then again the next time we see him is in the time of and the next time we see him is in the Day of the Doctor. And in the Day of the Doctor, he knows his future selves, which were David Tennant and Matt Smith at the time. He knows them. And when he talks about the Time War, David Tennant and Matt Smith, as the doctors, still have memories of that. Even though it was them, but it wasn't them. You know, they still know how many children died, my point is, even as the War Doctor was created, it was sort of kind of like a crack in the timeline. He still remembers his future selves and his past selves. Like, he knows. And they remember him. It's just the same. So how come Ruth and the Doctor do not know each other? So my theory is, Ruth is a doctor from an alternate timeline, which would mean, first, for me, the doctor is a woman thing, and excitement about that kind of goes like just like plops, because now we have another woman doctor, and she's of color. So, you know, double whammy for the doctor. But here's the thing. She doesn't remember the doctor, and the doctor doesn't remember her. So they can't both be the doctor of the same timeline, because again, they would remember each other either from the future or the past. And so I think Ruth is from an alternate timeline in which she is the first doctor of her timeline, and she is the one that helps save her Gallifrey. And that's my theory. Ruth is an alternate doctor, is a doctor from an alternate timeline who comes to our timeline to help our doctor figure out why, how, who destroyed Gallifrey, and to hopefully be able to save it before what the Master showed her actually happens. Anyways, so there you have it, guys. That's my theory for who Ruth is and how she can technically be the doctor without knowing the doctor. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and let me know down below what you think of my theory. What are some of your theories for Ruth being the doctor? And if you are happy that there's another doctor or not. I personally am not happy that there's another doctor, but that we don't know about, because I really loved the episode The Day of the Doctors, with the War Doctor, the 10th and 11th Doctor being together. But yeah, anyways, guys, next time, stay geeky. Bye.